What's going on, guys? My name's Corrupt and welcome to Identify That Base. This series is aimed to help you understand a specific attack strategy, but also make sure that you know exactly what attack strategy to choose from depending on the base design. In this episode, we're going to be specifically going over the Queen Charge Lavaloon, breaking it down, but also helping you identify the correct aspects of the base so that then you can 3-star with it and also choose when to use this attack strategy. So let's go ahead and jump into the first example we have for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at this base design for our first example. And everything that we talk about is going to be the same with each of the 3 examples we have here for you guys. So with this base design, the first thing you've got to take a look at, especially if you're doing a queen charge, is the air sweeper placement. So if we take a look at the air sweepers here, one air sweeper is pointed up and the other one is pointed down this way. So we know where the range is. We know which sides of the base that we don't want to enter in from. So what about the other sides? So let's go ahead and take a look at this left or this right hand side here at 3 o'clock. This side mainly has the king, the expo, the cannons, and also the archer tower here. Now, this side is really filled with some DPS, including this archer tower that is right there in the center. This is a lot of DPS for a queen charge. It probably isn't the greatest area to go in with a queen charge. The other thing is, let's take a look at the 9 o'clock side. The 9 o'clock side is there isn't as much DPS there. If you notice, there's maybe some archer towers, but there's no expos other than the one near the queen. And that is really important because you've also gotten easy access to the queen if you charge into that side. So it's really important that you take a look at the CC and the queen, and then you want to take a look at that in relative to where you're going to walk and charge into the base. So it's really, really important. So let's actually focus on this small little part here to give you guys the understanding. So when you guys are queen charging, you want to try and make sure that you set the funnel with the wizard and the king on the opposite side, and maybe use a coconut loon to soak up any seeking air mines. The next thing that you want to do is try and break in. There are multiple ways from wall breakers to earthquake to jump. You're going to see here is they used a test wall breaker. Really, really important. The test wall breaker is specifically used to make sure that the other wall breakers do not get one-shotted by a small bomb or a giant bomb. The freeze spell is also going to be used here specifically to make sure that the multi-inferno does not hit those wall breakers as they break in. And again, you want to make sure that you place the wall breakers in before the queen is able to destroy the defense or building that's in there, because then the wall breakers will not target that wall. So you got to make sure. You've also got to really plan out where you're going to place down your wall breakers so that you know where they're going to go. So it's really important. You can see that now in the base, getting a lot of value. The CC is mainly one that you're going to have to deal with, and also the queen, but also getting the multi-inferno, the air defense, at least one of those wizard towers, and the archer towers are huge. Now, when you are low on health, like you saw there, the queen had to be raged up. You want to make sure that you rage up your queen, especially dealing with a CC like a damage CC. That's going to be really important because you don't want to go into the CC with a low health queen. You want to try and keep that queen with high enough health. Now, sometimes you will have to pop her ability, but other times you won't need to at that. Now, the other thing is, before we actually talk about the Lavaloon portion, why was the Lavaloon portion chosen here? Well, if we think about it, it's going to be a lot more difficult to hog this base. Primarily because the queen, CC, and king are a little bit more separate. So that's why a queen charge hog would not work on this base. So as we start to take a look at this, sending in the loons and the hounds, mainly the hounds first and then the loons, going in groups. So you notice this, that they're going in with groups. You'll see that also Mortal places the Stone Slammer by itself. Not always something that you have to do, but this is what Immortal is showing you by placing it from that side, getting rid of this other side of DPS, because most likely you're not going to have enough loons to get to that multi-inferno. There's two more other air defenses in here. Now, he doesn't have any use for the rage spells, and he does have a heal spell. Heal spells, I constantly say this in a lot of my other videos. The heal allows your loons to be healed up back to full health, especially after taking a lot of damage. The rage spells that he used here primarily to get the loons right up through. Again, remember, they get their speed boost just a little bit, but then also a damage boost. So it's really huge as you start to move in with the loons on the last end of the base. And that's really how Immortal got it done. And hopefully you kind of saw this in a little bit of a different perspective, kind of in the attacker's perspective going in. Another thing that I forgot to talk about was going to be on how he placed in those loons and the hounds in a clockwise manner. And we'll talk more about this in the next one, so that then you guys can get that sort of understanding of it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next replay we have for you guys. So here we go, guys. We got the next example, and let's take a look at this base. Now, what you're going to notice is that this base is pretty heavy at the top. You're going to see, let's notice where the air sweepers are placed. One air sweeper is going to be placed right here, so we can see the entire range right there, and also we can see the other range. So we've already narrowed it down to those two sides. One side of the base is going to be a no-go. You can also definitely tell that there are cannons, archer towers, expos right there, and those corner air defenses do not help the fact that you cannot queen charge from the corner. You're going to have to go in from like the town hall, but be wary, there could be Teslas right near that town hall. Again, you never know, and again, this is always like in the perspective of a fresh hit, so you've got to kind of keep that into account. Where are the Teslas? Sometimes they might be in the core, other times they might be elsewhere, sometimes they'll be near the town hall. So you got to just plan for that. Now, the other thing is, let's go ahead and take a look at this other side. Let's take a look at what there is. Obviously, there are some storages there, but not too many storages that really can cause some problems. Look at all the value that you see there. Even if the queen goes on one side of the base, you still get a lot of value, but you just don't get the queen. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more on how to deal with the queen if you don't get to her. So in this example, the queen walk does not go to plan, and the queen actually walks to the opposite side of the base. Rather than taking the jump that would be placed over near this wizard tower to go in and get the queen, along with some more extra value, that isn't going to happen. And instead, it's going to go to the other side and not get the queen. This is a great example to show you guys really what you can do when your queen charge does not go to plan. When your queen's AI does not take the jump or the wall break or the earthquake, you gotta then plan out that. Usually on these symmetrical style bases, these are pretty much easier to plan out that plan B, but that is really something that you guys have to just understand. Now, when you guys are dealing with different attacks, you really want to make sure that you also prepare for the CC. Sometimes they'll slip right through the poison, especially if it's Valkyries, and you might have to pop the ability. So it's really something that you have to kind of think about and plan out when you guys are doing this, especially if you're seeing that damage CC, which is usually 99% what you guys are seeing. Now, sometimes you may see a Hound CC, but other times a damage CC is really going to be the thing that people are going to be using in their defensive CCs. So you'll see that this attack didn't go to plan. The jump was not taken. So what's going to happen? Well, look at the value from the other side. Again, you're going to get the expo either way, but you're also going to get the air you got the wizard towers, you also got the air defense, but you're also going to get the air sweeper and the multi-inferno. So now that you've gotten some sort of value from this base, you can actually then start sending in everything. Now, one of the things that in this attack that he does is he uses the Stone Slammer first. Rather than the other example where the Stone Slammer was used a little bit later, it was used first. This is almost like a loon. It was primarily trying to go and get rid of the Inferno if the queen wasn't going to get rid of it. However, she did in this case. However, what you'll see is that he's going in counterclockwise. Why is this? It's because he's going into the easiest air defense to start off on. Getting rid of that air defense as soon as possible allows your loons to then start grouping up and going against those other defenses, whether that be point defenses like Teslas and Expos, but also on the splash defenses like Wizard Towers. So as you're starting to move in, you can use the rest of your spells And if you know that you're going to have enough loons for this, then you're going to be bringing in the more rage and at least one more haste. Or if you're using that jump, then you aren't going to be using that heal, because that is what's going to be taken care of. So again, sometimes you may want to bring a heal, other times you'll want to bring a jump, but just remember, you want to take the jump. If not, then it was almost a waste of a jump. So you just got to kind of consider that when you guys are doing this attack. So hopefully that gives you an understanding of this. Let's go ahead and take a look at an asymmetrical base design and kind of tell you guys exactly what needs to be identified for those specific type of bases. Alright, so here is the asymmetrical base design. Here's the last example we have here for you guys. Now, if we take a look at this, let's take a look at where the air sweepers are placed. One is placed far this way, and the other is placed placed towards the multi-inferno. Now, let's think about this. There is a blind spot here. Basically, it's in that small little area where this expo is. And it's mainly due to the fact that they are pointed in opposite directions, not making it difficult for a queen charge to go in. Now, if you'll notice that in this one, the attacker is deciding to use 5 healers. Why 5 healers? Sometimes you may want to bring some extra cleanup or extra loons, or maybe some extra things that you may want to bring, such as in this case, you know, he's bringing in some wall breakers and also the jump to get deeper into the base. So this is more of an advanced version of this. From the ones that you saw, they were only using one way to break in, but because you aren't going to be able to get the multi-inferno without charging into it, you're going to see that instead of that, breaking into the base and then using the jump to get deeper into the base and carve out that side is the best option. So making sure that you take a look at that. Now, again, you want to try and keep your queen alive, so using the rage spells to keep that queen alive is really, really, like, very, very important. And you'll see that in this one, that one raged up wall breaker was actually enough to break open that one wall, because he really wanted to make sure that that wall break did happen. He did have an extra wall breaker, so if it did not go down, then that last wall breaker probably would have gotten it. But he's using that rage spell to try and get the queen to get through the CC, but then also the other DPS that's going to be going through. Again, it's another damage CC with 2 of those Valkyries. So dealing with the Valkyries isn't too difficult, especially under the rage. And you'll see that in this example, again, getting the 2 wizard towers that you need, getting the expo, and the jump spell offers you even more value. Notice that the jump spell was placed here, that getting the second wizard tower and the multi-inferno, just opening up more of the base. So if you'll see that now the queen is going to be able to carve from this side right down to about this multi-inferno. This now allows that one side to be cleared, and now you can start his lava portion without worrying too much about the queen. Now, as he's entering into the base, he's going to start with his stone slammer going in by itself, and then the lava hound going in. Trying to make sure that he can take care of this multi-inferno, not too difficult to take down, especially with all that going in. And now he can send in the rest of his groups of loons going through the base. Now, instead of using the haste spells to go in, since he has enough tankage and enough loons, he can use the haste spells to get the loons to their primary destinations, which is to each of those defenses and one-shotting them, and then going into the group and basically taking out in one shot all the rest of the defenses. You can see he still has 5 loons. He's going to use that for cleanup. If you ever have more loons that you didn't use them on cleanup. That will really, really help, especially if you're tight on time. So make sure that you guys really take into consideration that. So that has been the video. I hope that you guys did learn something from this, and hopefully it kind of helps you understand exactly what you need to do in order to identify the right base, but then also identifying what will make a queen charge possible, what will make a lava loon possible, and then when to use a heal, when not to use a heal, and then what to bring in terms of that. So in this case, from this base design, what you saw was a wall break in to get some sort of value, but then if you wanted to get some extra pieces of value, including a wizard, or I'm sorry, a multi-inferno, using the jump was a great option. So if you guys did enjoy this video and learn something, leave a like, subscribe for more of my content, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you guys don't miss an upload. I really did enjoy making this one, and if you guys do want to go ahead and join my community Discord server or the X Humanity family Discord, the links are in the description below, along with my Twitter as well. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see another one of these, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.